Then they executed well, and we had so many breakdowns on defense, and they made shots. They really punished us on that end, making 17 threes from 35. It was just too wide open.
It's defeating, I think. Obviously, we know what a great shooter she is, and I think we just gave her too many easy ones. Obviously, she has great range, and her ability to get her shot off is really impressive, especially with missing some games. And so, obviously, on a personal level, I'm really happy to see her back out on the court, healthy, feeling good, because obviously it's important for them, but just for her, I'm happy she's back.
What happens when the league's defending champions roll into your building undefeated, convinced they own the crown, only to meet a superstar who's been stewing on the sideline for 3 weeks? You get a 102-88 gut check that echoes through every locker room in the WNBA. The New York Liberty swaggered in at 9-0. They limped out staring at the Jumbotron, wondering how one player could swing the momentum of an entire season. Now, picture the scene in real time. A sold-out Gainbridge Fieldhouse buzzing as Caitlin Clark loosens up, the crowd erupting with every warm-up three she drains from the logo. Liberty veterans crack half smiles, part bravado, part unease, while analysts on the broadcast hype a statement game nobody expects to detonate this hard. From the opening tip, Clark hijacks the script, turning the champion's coronation tour into a cautionary tale about underestimating generational talent. Tonight isn't just about a perfect record falling, it's about the balance of power in the W shifting on a single rainbow-arched jumper. Until Saturday, the Liberty season looked like a coronation tour. Even without Finals MVP Jonquil Jones, ankle, and wing Leonie Fibich, Eurobasket duty, they had the league's best net rating and an offense that hummed like a well-oiled subway line. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever were stuck in neutral, 2-3 during Caitlin Clark's quad-strain hiatus, drifting toward the standings middle. Everyone inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse knew the script. Champs walk in, handle business, remain perfect. Instead, perfection cracked in the first quarter. What almost no one factored in was the desperation brewing on Indiana's side. The Fever had watched 2 double-digit leads evaporate in Clark's absence, the locker room growing restless as TV pundits wondered aloud whether her rookie magic had already worn off. Ticket prices dipped, social media jabs spiked, and Coach Christie Sides flat out told reporters, "We need our floor general back." So when Clark sprinted out for warm-ups, the arena didn't just buzz, it roared like a roof-ripping revival, the kind of noise that turns a routine regular season game into a potential season-shifting moment. Clark's first triple sizzled from 33 feet, the second splashed from 27, the third, pure audacity, rose from the mid-court logo, arcing above 2 outstretched defenders before kissing nylon. 9 points in 33 seconds, erasing an early 11-point deficit and igniting a 17-3 avalanche. By halftime, she owned 25 points, and by the final horn, her line read 32 points, 9 assists, 8 boards, and 7 bombs, tying her career high from deep. Indiana as a unit buried 17 of 35 threes, a franchise record. Liberty coach Sandy Brondello had to burn a timeout just to stop the bleeding, but the pause only magnified the moment. Analyst Rebecca Lobo could be heard chuckling on the broadcast. Did we just see 3 different time zones on those shots? Phones shot up across the lower bowl, fans desperate to capture the replay on the big screen, while the arena DJ let the roar ride with the music cut. From then on, every single Clark catch triggered a collective gasp from 17,000 throats. A tension so thick it rattled New York's poise and turned each Indiana possession into must-see television. Post-game, Sabrina Ionescu, fresh off her own 34-point night, didn't hide behind cliches. "We know what a great shooter she is. We just gave her too many easy ones. She has great range, and her ability to get her shot off is really impressive, especially after missing some games. On a personal level, I'm really happy to see her back out on the court healthy, feeling good. Just for her, I'm happy she's back." That's not lip service, it's respect from the league's other resident logo assassin. When the player who owns the single-season three-point record tips her cap, everyone listens. For context, remember that Ionescu's own legend was built on burying deep daggers at Oregon and torching nets in last summer's historic three-point contest. She understands exactly how rare it is to cook elite defenders from 30-plus feet, let alone straight off an injury layoff. So her praise wasn't just professional courtesy, it was a peer acknowledging a peer who just matched, if not exceeded, the toughest standards she sets for herself. In a league where pride runs high and grudges linger, Ionescu's willingness to celebrate Clark so publicly felt like a passing of the torch moment, or at least a mutual nod that the W now has 2 certified long-range killers rewriting the limits of what's possible from way downtown. Stewart's perspective carries heavyweight credibility. She's a 2-time WNBA MVP, 4-time NCAA champion, EuroLeague titleist, and multiple gold Olympian. When a resume like that pauses to applaud a rookie, it reframes the entire conversation around that player. For nearly a decade, Stewie has been the measuring stick for every rising star. Saturday night, she effectively confirmed Clark belongs in that same rarefied air. In the locker room, she elaborated that Clark forces you to guard 94 feet, praising her quick-release mechanics and court vision that warps help rotations before the ball even leaves her hand. Coming from someone who has solved every defensive puzzle imaginable, that analysis wasn't merely polite. It was a master acknowledging the arrival of another grandmaster. A signal to the rest of the league that every scouting report on Indiana now begins with containing number 22. Head coach Sandy Brondello broke it down. Credit to Indiana. We had our moments, but then they executed. We had so many breakdowns on defense. They made shots. They really punished us at that end, making 17 threes. Translation: Clark's gravity-stretched New York switching scheme until seams burst, helped defenders shaded 2 steps too far, corner shooters feasted, and transition defense evaporated. 19 fever fast break opportunities to the Liberty's 7. Every Liberty miss triggered a fever sprint. Every fever make amplified the pressure. Drill a layer deeper, and the analytics are even harsher. Indiana posted a 148 offensive rating in Clark-led half-court sets, dwarfing New York's 93. Second Spectrum tracking logged 1.47 points per possession when Clark was the primary pick-and-roll ball handler, a number more often seen in All-Star games than mid-season grindouts. The Liberty tried show and recover, flat hedges, even a one-possession box and one. The Fever shredded each look in under 3 passes. By the third quarter, Brondello could be heard on the broadcast pleading, "Talk, talk, talk," as miscommunications piled up. When the film room lights flick on Monday, the tape won't just highlight made shots. It'll spotlight 5 Liberty bodies orbiting Clark while shooters stand alone, a visual syllabus on how one superstar's range detonates even the most disciplined defensive blueprint. Kelsey Mitchell's 22 points, Lexi Hull's 14, and Aaliyah Boston's quiet double-double all flowed straight from Clark's orbit. The moment she crosses half court, defenses panic. Driving lanes shrink for the opposition and widen for every Fever cutter. Liberty shooters, meanwhile, bricked 23 triples. Forced into a style they didn't dictate, they pressed, rushed, and ultimately cracked. That ripple didn't stop with the starters. Indiana's bench, often a minus on the stat sheet, outscored New York's reserves 18-6, fueled by the chaos Clark creates. Sydney Colson picked pockets in transition, Temi Fagbenley cleaned up putbacks, and every role player looked a tier faster because New York's help defenders were frozen to Clark's hip. By the time the Liberty sagged into a fourth quarter 2-3 zone, the damage was irreversible. Clark walked the ball up, flashed a grin, and orchestrated a high screen that produced an alley-oop lay-in for Boston, punctuating a masterclass in how one superstar's gravity can elevate an entire roster from ordinary to unstoppable. Indiana is 3-2 when Clark plays, 2-3 without her. That split doesn't just speak, it shouts. The champ's public praise legitimizes her impact beyond highlight reels. It confirms a shift in psychological hierarchy. If the Liberty, owners of a super team payroll and a title, call your comeback impressive and healthy for the league, how does Atlanta or Chicago feel walking into their next Clark encounter? And it's not just vibes. The business side is scrambling too. League schedulers are lobbying networks to flex more Fever games into primetime, resale ticket prices rocketed 48% overnight, and sportsbook algorithms quietly nudged Clark into the outer ring of the MVP odds. In locker rooms around the country, coaches are ripping up scouting packets that assume to contain the rookie approach and replacing them with full-blown build-a-wall at half-court blueprints. When one performance forces both Wall Street and whiteboards to adjust, the plates beneath an entire league have started to shift. Were Ionescu and Stewart showcasing elite sportsmanship or smoothing PR edges after a humbling loss? Either way, their candor left no doubt about who dictated terms inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Clark didn't just return, she tore a 9-game win streak to shreds and walked off with the champ's respect tucked under her arm. Drop your take in the comments. Classy concession or calculated politics? Smash that, like if you crave more no-filter WNBA breakdowns, and subscribe so you never miss the moments that redefine the league's balance of power. The next shockwave could hit any night, and you'll want a front row seat when it does. And if you're hungry for even deeper dives, think film room breakdowns, live Q&As, and early access to scripts, check out the channel membership perks linked below. Supporting the channel keeps these long-form stories coming, and it puts you on the inside track for merch giveaways, watch party invites, and all the behind-the-scenes chaos that never makes it into the final cut. Buckle up, The Fever's Rise is just one chapter in a season that's rewriting WNBA history.